The start. It always amazes me how so often the hardest part of any journey is the start, despite the fact that the start is technically the easiest part. If you start going to the gym, the first few weeks are the hardest. Even though technically the workouts you do in week 1 are extremely easy compared to the workouts you do in week 30. And yet, even though you train harder in week 30, you feel amazing after you do those workouts, but you feel horrible after you do the week 1 workouts. I was thinking about sex and marriage today, and I want to paint this scenario to you. Let's say you and your high school sweetheart start having sex, right? And at the time, you've both only slept with each other. Then you break up in university, meet up much later in life, and get married. Now, we can all agree that the sex you'll have as a married couple will be better than the sex you had in high school. But have you ever thought about how it'll be much harder to please each other sexually when you're married than when you were in high school? I mean, you two broke up, and she went and had multiple sexual partners: tall guys, short guys, buff guys, romantic guys, men whose tings were long, short, thick, curved, and you're no different. You know what I'm saying? You're no different. You went and slept with thick women, skinny women, feisty women, older women, women whose thighs, women whose tings were tight, wet, warm, hairy, smooth, jiggly, huge, all different types, you know? Now that that's happened, both of your sexual standards have increased exponentially, and it takes a lot more to please her now than it did in high school, and the same goes for you. And yet, you'll be the most nervous when the two of you start having sex in high school than when you start having sex as a married couple. Even though the stakes are so much higher when you're married. I mean, what if you two can't forget how much fun you had with partners from before? What would that do to your marriage? Another example would be trying to make it as a singer. Technically, the first times that you make songs and post them are the least stressful because you don't have any fans. And honestly, no one cares about who you are and what you have to say. And yet, more often than not, people procrastinate and overthink their first songs more than songs that they make later in their career. Even though later in your career, you have fans, critics, and things like the pressure to feed your family and preserve your lifestyle on the line when you're putting out new music. Despite this, artists such as Drake and Future will put out a project that they made in a week, and producers such as Metro Boomin and Southside will spend much less time worrying about the quality of their beats before sending them to artists. This channel, for instance, is a prime example of this. I came up with the idea for this channel in 2019 and only started it in 2021. So then why is it so much harder to begin than it is to continue? Why is the start the easiest part, but the hardest to execute? Let me introduce to you something that I call the survival comfort theory, which I think is the answer to, this problem. Let me put it to you like this. This is the quickest way I can explain it to you. So basically, as human beings, our brains haven't really evolved since hunter-gatherer days. So the brain that you have, the system that you have, the software, is not the exact, but is pretty much the same software that your ancestors, Cthulhu and Fufu had, or Brayon, or William, or Andreas, whatever, or Mark, whatever the, hell your ancestors' names were. We still have the same brains. So that's why it's so easy for advertising companies and so on to get you addicted to things like social media and junk food and all of that, because our brains still have the same, it's still the mechanism, and our brains weren't designed to be able to deal with all of those different things. Now, when you understand that we still have the same brains, my next thing is going to be easy to understand. Our brains are designed to keep us alive. They're not designed to allow us to live our best lives. I'm going to say that again. Our brains are designed to keep us alive. They're not designed for us to live our best lives. You know what I'm saying? So because of that, your brain is designed to keep you alive. It's designed for you to... Your brain is designed to keep you alive. It's designed to allow you to survive. Now, because in this modern day and age, you don't really have to quote unquote survive. Like obviously, yes, you do have to survive. You have bills to pay. It's still a cold world. It's still, the natural order is still in place. Trust me. It's just more hidden. But you're not waking up in the morning worried about whether you're going to get eaten. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You're not walking down the street like, oh man, there's an animal might take me out today. Oh man, this, that. You know what I mean? Oh man, there might not be food or whatever. We might not, when I say there might not be food, it means like we might not be able to find something to hunt. You know what I mean? We might not be able to find something to gather or to kill so we can eat. You know what I mean? That's what I mean when I say there might not be food. So your brain is designed for that. That's all your brain was designed to do, was for you to be alive, to have energy and reproduce and continue the human race. It's not designed for you to build your dream body. It's not designed for you to get good grades. It's not designed for you to, build a business. Your brain doesn't care about that. All it cares about is, are you alive? And are you surviving? Now, because we don't technically have to survive, my theory is that the new form of survival is comfort. So everything, if you think about it, a lot of your decisions, if you think about your modus operandi, so like your operating system, for a lot of the decisions you make, a lot of it is just you trying to be comfortable. Like, think about the bad decisions, especially. Like, why did I do that? Why would I make that decision knowing full well that in the future it was going to hurt me? You know what I mean? Why would I procrastinate knowing full well that in the future I might fail my exam or do badly in my exam? Why would I skip the gym knowing full well that, I don't know, at the end of the year, when it's the summer and stuff like that, and it's time to go to the beach, I'm going to be fat. I won't be able to fit into my bikini. I won't be able to walk around shirtless. You know what I mean? Why did I do that? Because at that time, it was the most comfortable thing to do. It was comfortable. You see what I'm saying? And that's the main reason why it's hard to start, especially at an older age, because it sounds funny, but like it's just too uncomfortable. And discomfort feels like danger. That's why when you do something, even if you love it, but it's not in your comfort zone, it almost feels dangerous in that sense. Because again, back in the day, in the hunter-gatherer days, that's like the equivalent to stalking something while a lion is stalking it. So your brain is going bing, 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 run away, stop, don't do that, go do this, stay alive. You know what I mean? The same way now, when you try to do NoFap or start training or start a business or start anything, your brain is going ding, 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 ding. We don't do that. That's not comfortable. Stay in your lane. Your brain tells you to stay in your lane more than anyone. You know what I mean? And that's exactly why it's hard to start. So, in conclusion, start as quickly and as promptly as you can. Write down a list and do it. And if you feel uncomfortable and it feels unnatural, you know you're doing the right thing.